Hi there, welcome to Colors. I'm Erica. On today's video, I am going to be doing some work in Romantic Country. I haven't decided on which WIP that I really want to work on, so I think I'm just going to go through with my blue marker and add a little bit more blue throughout my book. Yeah, I think that's the plan. I'm going to have some tea. I'm drinking chocolate mint tea this morning. It's so tasty. I set that up to the side. Yum, yum, yum. Have a little bit of almond milk in there and a little bit of sugar. I was out of honey, so I had to use sugar, but that's okay. A little bit of sugar is not going to hurt, right? Just a tiny bit. All right, so let's see what we got. I probably will color these eventually, so I could probably go ahead and add some into these. We'll just start here. So hi everybody, good morning. Well, it's morning for me. If it's morning for you, then good morning. Otherwise, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in your weekend. I hope you are having a lovely day. I slept through my alarm this morning, which was lovely. So I'm filming this a little bit later than I wanted to initially, but it'll be all right. Okay. I'm gonna give all of these guys blue little tops. Let's see, what do I want to talk about with you all this morning? I am back from my break. Although it probably didn't feel like a break for you guys because I still had videos that were being released while I was on vacation, but it was a lovely vacation. We went to, I think I talked a little bit about this last time, but I'm gonna talk about it again because I have no idea what I said last time. We went to Savannah, Georgia and South Carolina, and just had just so much fun. The weather was perfect. It wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. It wasn't too crowded, which I was worried about at the beginning. But it was really nice. And then it's gonna be like a stamp across there. Maybe I'll outline that in blue if I can. Yeah, so Savannah was gorgeous. Like I've never been to either of these places. We went to Savannah and then we went to Charleston, South Carolina. And holy moly, those are like some of the prettiest places I've ever seen in my life. They were just so pretty. The houses that were I was in awe when I saw the houses in Savannah, like along the riverfront and like all the history and stuff in Savannah. And then when we got to Charleston, it just blew me away even more. Like it was beyond gorgeous. In Savannah, they have lots of little like town squares everywhere. So there's just parks randomly throughout the city. And then you have like, what am I gonna do? Sorry, I'm having to think and talk again, and that's not always a good combination for me, as you guys know. I'm just gonna do this whole thing. So see if we can get it in here without too much streaking. Yeah, lots of little parks, and they had like just like historic statues or memorial statues everywhere. And it was so pretty. And then walking along the river, the Savannah River, was really, really nice. Lots of shops. I found my favorite place, well, not my favorite place, but a wonderful place called the Savannah Candy Shop. Savannah Candy Shop? I think that's the name. And got some pralines, which were so delicious. And we also got, my daughter got a Rice Krispie that was about the size of her face. And then some, and then it was covered with chocolate and M&Ms, like mini M&Ms. And she loved that. My son and my husband aren't big for candy. They're healthy people. But then I got a Reese cup that is like 3 times the size of a normal cup. But mine, instead of just having peanut butter inside, it was a white chocolate one. And then it was an Oreo flavor. So there was Oreo cookies crumbled on top. And then inside with the peanut butter was like the Oreo cream. Holy moly. It was super rich, like super, super rich. So I couldn't eat it. Like, it took me several sittings to get through it. But yeah, that was my treat for several days on vacation. It was nice. We also found this little cookie shop called Bird's Cookies that was, they were so good. Like, you walk by it and the smell was amazing. And then, of course, when you get in there, they have free samples because you're, way more likely to buy cookies if you can, or buy the product if you can sample it. So yeah, we sampled and I was like, yep, these are coming home. These are coming home with us. So we got, they're all like little cookies and they're crunchy. And typically I like soft, big, chewy cookies, but these were so good. And I got the, Scotch oatmeal, which is one of their original flavors, and it was delicious. And then we also got Georgia peach, and oh man, those were good. And then what else did we do in Savannah? We went to Tybee Island, which is a beautiful area. They have a lighthouse there, so we went to the lighthouse. My husband and my son actually climbed the lighthouse, and my daughter was like, I don't think I can make it up that high. I think I will have a panic attack halfway up and make everybody have to stop and let me back down. So her and I stayed out, but we got to see the boys way up on the top, and we toured the rest of the grounds. They had like Lightkeeper house there, and kind of set up how it might have been when they were living there. Talked about kind of how isolated they were from everything, how they had to, fend for themselves basically because they were on an island and they couldn't really go about and do whatever they wanted. They couldn't like run down the street to the grocery store. So, they're growing all their food, they're raising all their livestock, all the stuff like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and color this part in. But yeah, it was really lovely. I got some wonderful pictures, and I'll share a little slideshow at the end of this if you guys want to see it. I didn't want to just like force it on you while I'm talking about it, but I'll share a little slideshow of some of the things we saw. I didn't take as many pictures as I wanted to. I was it was one of those weird things because on vacations I'm usually like the picture person. Like I'm like forcing everybody to take pictures every couple minutes. And this time I just wanted to relax. I just wanted to enjoy the sights and soak them up and not have to worry about capturing every single thing. And it was lovely. It was really nice. Be in the moment and not be worrying about, is my shot lined up right, and all these other things. So that was really nice. And then in Charleston, we stayed with my husband's aunt. She lives on this island called Seabrook Island, which is a fancy schmancy place. You have to have like a pass thing to even get on the island, which is crazy. But she lives in a condo there, and it's right on the beach. Like I did post a picture of where I was coloring on my Instagram account that I will post that again in the slideshow here. And it was just, there's like a boardwalk out to the beach, but it's just like this one little walkway. And I mean, you're out there in a minute. So it's not like it's far away, but you can hear the ocean. You can smell the ocean. You can, it was just lovely. And the day that I colored, I mean, because the other days we were kind of, you know, go, go, go. Let's see everything that we can see, because we don't usually come here, and we probably won't be here a while be here again for a while. I don't know where I'm going to add blue to these yet, so I'm going to hold off. I know on the shutters here, yeah, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until I color all of these things in, although I have colored that castle, haven't I? That's purple, right? Yeah, that's purple. I don't have any blue on that. There's just blue in the sky on this one. Silly me. And then I think this one is the one that I colored at the end of the book, and it's got no blue at all. So I might have to change that a little bit. That's okay. We'll get to that when I get to it. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on all those. Okay, so let's see what I got here. All of these are done. I have blue on here. I want to do all this in pencil, so I'm gonna hold off using my marker. I think I'll probably do like his suspenders in blue, or his shirt maybe. We'll see. All right, this one I know that some of the little teapots are gonna have the blue, so we'll add blue into that. Probably just do blue on these little teapots right here. Just color those whole things in, and that'll be like their, yep. What was I talking about? I think that was the place that she lived. Yeah, so she, it was gorgeous, and you know, it was so lovely of her to let us stay with her. And if we, you know, hadn't been able to, I don't know if our vacation would have lasted quite as long. So I'm very thankful that we were able to stay with her, and she was just lovely. And then when we went, I'm going to take another sip of tea here. It's been a little bit since I just sat and chatted. Then we went to Charleston, and it was stunningly beautiful. Like, so beautiful. And then we drove around and looked at all of the beautiful houses. They have like this one area called like Rainbow Row or something like that. And there's like a pink house and a purple house, and just these giant mansion houses that are so stunning. All right, how do I want to do? We're going to do around the teapot on this one. So there was one thing, and I forgot to research this more, but they had a lot of the houses in Charleston, like the part that faces the road does not have the front porch. It's on the side of the house, and they're like long, narrow porches. And that was different than what I had in my head. Like I was expecting, you know, those big grand porches, you know, Southern style porches with either the big columns or, you know, wide enough for like a whole living room set on your front porch. But they were on the side, and that was just mainly in downtown Charleston. But yeah, they were on the side of the houses, which it just was odd to me. Still beautiful, but then there was also like a door to go onto the porch and then a door to get in the house. So it was different than anything I had seen before. And And we walked around the shops there a little bit. They had this whole road that was full of everything and anything that you could want, like high-end shops, like super great shopping. Like if that's where you wanted to go shopping, that you would have spent all of your money, but you would have been happy. Yeah, and then we found some more of those Birds cookies and got a couple different flavors. And then we got on, so Charleston is on a harbor. So there are a couple things around the harbor to see. So we got on this water taxi that drove us across the harbor, so we didn't have to drive our car back and forth and try to park every time, because everywhere you go down there, you have to pay for parking. So we hopped on this taxi. It was $12 for the entire day, so we could, go back and forth and not have to worry about any of that. And it was lovely. And being able to cross the harbor, and it was like it wasn't exactly a pontoon boat. It was nicer than a pontoon boat. It went a little faster, but it was similar to that. So I wasn't, we weren't like in a speedboat or anything going across. It was really nice. And then as we were crossing, some dolphins came and were swimming with us, and they came up like almost right next to the boat and just popped up, and like you could see their eye, and my daughter was like, "Oh my gosh, it's looking at me." It was so sweet. And then we took that across to this area called Patriots Point, which has an aircraft carrier, a destroyer, and a submarine that you can tour. And unfortunately, the destroyer and the sub were closed for, I think the submarine's undergoing renovations, and they had just closed the destroyer for the day, but that was the day that we had available to go to see that. So we just toured the aircraft carrier, but good Lord, we were on that boat for like 5 hours. It took forever, and we only did half of the tour. Like we didn't even finish the other two little, like there's 4 different tours that are guided throughout the ship, and we only did the first 2. But it was amazing. And then they had a little Medal of Honor museum on the ship as well, which was beautifully done. It told like stories about some of the Medal of Honor recipients, and like listed all of their names and what they did in each war, and it was just gorgeous. We spent longer in there because the guy at the desk when we got there, he's like, yeah, so if you start here and go in this Medal of Honor, you'll spend about 10 minutes in there. And we were in there for like an hour because we're one of those people that just reads everything. Okay, let's see. How do I want to do this one? We're going to do the whole bag. It's going to be blue on this one. But yeah, it was so cool seeing, and it was a World War II submarine. So lots of facts about, lots of cool photos from the war, and it had been in several big battles, and it showed, there was a whole thing about the battles that it had been in and the damage that it took. And then, of course, the damage that it inflicted, which was crazy to see. They have it like up on this giant, it's like a big mural painted across the top that shows how many planes they shot out of the air, how many planes they destroyed on land, how many boats they sank, like all of these different things. And I was just like, man. And my husband and my son were just in heaven. My husband, he works for a company that makes airplane engines, so he's all about airplanes. And my son is all about history and war. And they just loved it. And my daughter thought it was cool, but at one point she was like, "Are we done yet?" I was like, "No, babe, sorry. We are not done. We are still going." But yeah, it was really cool. We just enjoyed it so much. Okay, so I know I have a lot of blue in the tea. No, I'll just keep the blue. I was going to try to work in, I'll probably do pink on the, what is that? The flowers. Jeez. I couldn't think of the word flowers. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do these little guys up here. And then, yeah, so that was like a whole day experience. Oh, and then they also had this little, it was basically a Vietnam experience. So it was set up like it was a Vietnam camp. And then you went into a couple of these little bunkers, and they turned off the lights, and one of them simulated the sounds of a nighttime attack. And that just, it was really loud. So my daughter freaked out and we had to get her out of there. But it was set up so there was only one family group at a time that could be in there. So that wasn't too bad. And then there was another one. There was a little movie about another little area that was, I can't remember the name of it now, of course, that got hit pretty hard. And about the servicemen and women who had stayed, and well, I guess probably just men on that point, the servicemen who held the base because that's what the president said they wanted, and then right after that they gave up the base. So like people died for absolutely no reason, and I was just like, ugh. But yeah, learned a lot about the war, different wars that I hadn't known before. So that's always, I love to learn about that stuff. And then we, yeah, it was a big day that day. Went to a couple of really fun little restaurants. We were joking because pizza is always easy for us because we can always, get something that everybody likes. So we went to a couple of different pizza places, but it was like every other day we would have pizza. And my husband's like, okay, it's pizza day. I was like, oh. So we haven't had pizza since we've been home. How do I want to do this little overhang? Do I want to put blue in that? I think I probably should, right? I could do the door blue. Do I have another blue door thing? I think I might. Where is my town? That one. All right, I have a blue door on the bakery. So maybe, I am not sure what I want to do on this. I think I'm going to do blue on the flower boxes here, though. I think that's all I'm going to do for the blue back here. I love using these Crayola markers in my Romantic Coutnry books. They just, they don't get too streaky as long as you work quickly. The paper kind of prevents that, and especially if I'm working in smaller sections, like it doesn't show at all. But I really like it. All right, let's see. How's that blue looking? Yeah, I'm gonna do these little diamonds on the windows. Okay, so and then let's see what else did we do? We did a plantation tour, which I wasn't too sure about. I didn't know if I wanted to go to a plantation. It felt disrespectful if all they were going to be doing was saying, back in the good old days when the South was grand and, things were easy. And I was like, no, I don't want to listen to that crap. I want to listen to, the truth, basically, So we did find, my aunt found this this one plantation that was not too far from her. And if you guys are ever in the Charleston area, you should check out the McLeod plantation. And the history lesson that they gave us, the little tour, was just amazing. They tell it from the perspective of the enslaved people. So they don't, I mean, they go into some detail about the owners of the property and kind of, you know, how they came to the property, and then how many enslaved people they owned. And then it goes into more about what life was like for the enslaved people. And our tour specifically focused on women. And it was ridiculously hard to hear. But it was so important. And I'm so glad my kids had that experience, that they heard, you know, some of these firsthand accounts from former slaves and like family members of enslaved people. It was amazing. Yeah. So, or, you know, even if you're not in the Savannah or the Charleston area and want to support the McLeod plantation, because it's not one that is really advertised a whole lot, especially like in the tour books and stuff, because all of the other plantations are like these big, grand, sprawling estates, and they have, you know, the big, huge, fancy house, and they have beautiful gardens, and they have, you know, the oak-lined driveway and all of the things. And then, you know, the house is made up as this big, grand place, and that's all pretty, but it doesn't get to the heart of what happened. And so if, you know, if that part of the story was really important to you, I really encourage you to go online and donate and support, because that McLeod plantation is, the only reason it exists is because several people gathered enough money to set up the tours there. And then I think now it is a city or state park. I can't remember which, but yeah, it was amazing. Our tour guide was amazing, and just really just soaked up all that history. And like, there was one thing where she was talking about how, since it was focused on women, she was talking about how women, enslaved women were valued less than men because they couldn't do as much manual labor. It was assumed, even though they were still forced to do just almost as much. But then they started, once there were no more slaves coming into America, they started looking at younger Africans as basically broodmares. Like, they were like valued based on how young they were, how fertile they were, how many kids they could bear. And it was basically like they were encouraged to have as many kids as they possibly could. And like, they would have a baby and then still have to get up and do their chores. Like, there was no rest. There was no anything. It was heart-wrenching. But like I said, so important for people to understand and to hear. I think that's the biggest thing. I'm hoping that people go on that, they hear it, and they understand the impact that has on people. Okay. Done talking about that. I know this is, I don't know. It just really, really spoke to me, really touched me, really opened my eyes. So, and then what else did we do? Since she was on the beach, we had a couple of days where we were, just walking on the beach a lot. We had that one afternoon where it was raining and I went outside to color, so that was nice. And then there was one other thing we did. Trying to remember. Oh, we went to Fort Sumter. And that was awesome. That was really cool. If you don't know, that's the place where the Civil War started. And it's this fort out in the middle of the Charleston harbor that they built. Like it was a man-made fort that they basically took one rock at a time and filled in this. They made an island because the cannons that they had on either side of the harbor only had like a 1.5 mile radius. So they couldn't reach the center of the harbor, so ships could sail right through the center and not worry about the cannons. So they put a man-made island in the center, and then they had it covered with the cannons. But yeah, it was really cool. The only downside is, there's a ferry ride that you have to take out there, and then you only get like an hour on the fort, and there's a museum in there, and there is the grounds that you can walk around and see the fort, and like all the old cannons and stuff. And I needed more time. I ended up having to take pictures of several of the information boards just so I could read it after the fact, because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to sit and read everything. It was kind of like a rushed thing, but they have tours coming every, hour and a half, and you take the same ferry boat out that you brought in or that you took in. And when we were pulling out of away from the dock, there was another ferry boat waiting to get in, so it's like super busy. We had an awesome, so one of the park rangers, they give a little spiel at the beginning, talk a little bit about the history of it, and then, but he started out, he was basically saying how lucky we were that he was there today, because he was the most attractive park service worker in the park service ranger in the entire National Park Service. So he's like, and I'm available for pictures after. And I was just like laughing. It's always nice when there's a sense of humor. And he went through his spiel really, really quickly, and then we were able to explore everything. So yeah, it was really cool. A really cool place. Oh, we also went to this other fort in Savannah. I forgot about that, on Tybee Island, and it was Fort Pulaski, and it was super cool. Really enjoyed that. So yeah, it was a lovely vacation. I hope that I didn't bore the heck out of you guys talking about all of that, but yeah, it was lovely. I had just had a wonderful time. Okay, I want to do more blue on this. I'm going to color this line blue. Yeah, I thought about working on the page that I worked on last weekend, but I wasn't feeling it today, so I thought I'd just add my blue in. So let's see. So we've got channel news. I did put my completed pages out there, so if you haven't seen that, it is up on the channel. I'm going to hold off on the rest of that because I don't know what else I want to do. I want to do this pot. I also released completed pages of my Ellery Fowler pages from her books. Man, I just keep seeing things that, like, just little things that I can add this little blue color in. What do we have coming up? I have recorded. I will have a Mix It Up Monday video, and it's going to be scrapbooking. So if that's of interest to you, make sure to check that out. That'll be up on Monday. And then I am going to have also a review of the Color Ya Imaginor pencils and the Mandala's Magical Nature book. Those were sent to me by the company, and this is the first time I've ever accepted anything like that from a company. But I had seen other YouTubers and Instagram accounts kind of showing those products off and thought that I would try them out and was pleasantly surprised. So check out that review. And I think that's going up tomorrow. I think. Then the next alphabet video will be W is for wood. I'm also going to be starting work on the color along for this month, which you all voted. And again, it is an airy book, and it happens to be fairy tales again. I was really hoping that you guys were going to vote for the Legends book, but I can color a page out of that on my own. But yeah, so I've picked out a page in the fairy tales book, so that'll be fun. All right, what do I want to do on this? I don't know. I don't have to color that castle the same every time. I know that in my head, you know. I just feel like I need to. That doesn't make any sense, but let's do, I need some blue in here. Yeah, let's do the little diamonds on the, I'm seeing a lot of this other stuff as like metal, so I'm not really going to add the blue in to that. Metal or stone, or, you know, I don't want the flowers to be blue. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on that one too. So if you hadn't seen this, this is the one that we worked on last week. I am going to do, I think, just a solid color blue back here, but a lighter blue than these, probably closer to this color in the floor, if I can get it. And then I still am not sure about the curtains. I am half tempted to just do like little flowers on the curtains and just have it like a white background. But I didn't know if that would be enough of a contrast between the background here and the curtains. I don't want to do like bright gold because I've got the frames in gold and the chandelier will probably be gold. I don't want to do the red like I talked about last time. I just don't want to do it. But I'm trying to figure out what else will go with this blue color that I've already got in here. I probably should have done the drapes navy. And that still might happen. I don't know. I was hoping to get another color in here because this is going to be a very blue page otherwise. Okay, let's see what we got here. Lots of chairs. Already have this part all blue. I don't know what to do with these. I don't want to do too much color on the chairs. I want those to be all wooden. This one will be a fabric chair and there'll be fabric on this one, but like those will be wood. That'll be fabric, fabric, fabric. I guess I could use my pencil and make those blue chairs. That's a possibility. I don't know. All right. Ooh, love this page. That one has enough blue. This one is another one that I'm still holding off on the blue because I haven't decided exactly how I want to do. I want this to be like, you know, the city crest or whatever. And I don't know if I want... I think I want like the ribbon to be blue and probably this ribbon down here to be blue, but I don't know if I want like the background behind the swan to be blue. I don't know. That has a lot. This has some, but I'm sure I could figure out a way to get more in there. Probably on the fountain itself. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it for today. I rambled on and on about my trip, colored a little bit in with the blues. I am not feeling coloring right now for some reason. I don't know exactly what it is, but I've been scrapbooking a lot lately, so maybe that's where my crafting attention is focused currently. Yeah, so I'm going to add in just a little bit of a, I don't know, a slideshow, I guess, at the end of this with some photos from my vacation. There won't be too many, but I wanted to share some of it with you since I talked your ear off about it this whole video. But yeah, that is it from me. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.